hearts reconnect. Conflict resolution with courage and respect. Family reunification, we open the door. Host of Just Jacks, keeping the circle square.
We did it. We did. Guys, this was the fastest LinkedIn ever, like connected to say it was live, because I watch on my phone when I'm doing the intro and I'm like, it's going to take forever to catch up. And it went really quick tonight. So guys, welcome to Just Jackson Guest. If this is your first time watching, thank you. If you have been here almost every week, because this is every single week, Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate you. Now, can we just give it up for Mike LeBlanc? I mean, that song is amazing. Not only is it amazing, and this earring's going to drive me crazy tonight. Not only is it an amazing song that really like talks about me a little bit in some of my day work and a little bit of my side business work. He literally created that song while watching one of the Just Jacks episodes. And he and I had never even talked other than doing comments back and forth in other people's shows. So I love hyping him and thanking him and letting people know that you can be a light to other people. You don't have to be their best friend. You don't have to be their colleague. You don't have to live in their state or their country to really support them. And I can't thank him enough for that. So I appreciate who's here, who's going to be watching on replay. We've got two amazing guests tonight. Kinga, Eric, Kinga, you guys are going to love them both. We are doing some amazing things by highlighting diverse humans and talking about the tough stuff. So I'm going to jump right into the tough stuff. I'm going to talk just for a few minutes before we bring Eric up. You're going to love him. I can't wait to share. So if you guys watched my show with William Rochelle yesterday, if you didn't, go back and check it out. He and I were so full of energy. You might not even be able to realize that we talked for a full hour, almost nonstop. It went by so fast. But I had some rough stuff that happened. On Friday, we were notified officially by the Michigan Department of Corrections that our programming for reentry, the program that saved taxpayers so much money, like $2 million a year, the only program like it in the entire state, was completely eliminated. That is 2/3 of my agency budget. Lots of work had to happen this weekend. But also on Friday and on Saturday was the amazing Work-Life Balance Summit that Dr. Tanya Farron and Damian Kinsey organized. And I felt the love through that. Was able to be a presenter on that. I talked all about balancing all on a budget, and I was trying to stifle the emotions the whole time because it was a really rough day on Friday, but feeling their love was amazing. And not only did I feel their love virtually from the summit and all the great guests and the other presenters that were there, guess what, guys? I got to see Damian, Dr. Tanya in person. Guys, we met up in St. Louis, St. Charles area. Damian, is New York City. I'm Michigan. Dr. Tanya is here in Missouri. We also got to meet up with the amazing Dr. Mel. She kind of lives fairly close here, so she was able to meet up one night with us. We got to meet one of Dr. Tanya's daughters, and then Dr. Raheem Young, he joined us as well. He and his wonderful wife got to come in yesterday, and we got to do dinner with them as well. So guys, when you're talking about your connections and who you need to have support you when things are rough, it's people in your network, people that are actually willing to reach out to you and wrap themselves around you, even if you don't ask for it, even if you aren't related to them, even if you aren't somebody that's going to get anything out of it. Take the time to get to know people because it's a pretty amazing thing. And I can't thank them enough for all of that. Guys, you're going to see me smiling a lot tonight because that's kind of what I do when I have guests on and when we're talking about some of the exciting things and the things I want you to learn. But just know my heart is breaking. There are people all over the state and the country that are grieving the loss of jobs, the loss of work that is going to be taken away from so many humans in terms of generational information and support and guidance through so much of the cuts in corrections and nonprofits and supporting families and kids. It's a tough time in America, guys. It's tough across the whole world. I am not going to shortchange that at all. But we have to work together. And so shows like this, we want to highlight people, make sure that they know that they are important and that they're cared about and they have value and they can bring stuff to the table. So great. Guys, there's so many awesome people here already. Christy, hello. hello. I can't wait to see you the next time in the 2350 retreat. Jay, always, always so happy to see you. Thank you for supporting. Kelly, nice to have you here. And Sharon and Damien. Oh, I'm loving this. We've got Eric in the background. We've got Sharon. Leslie, thank you so much for being here. You got to come to one of our retreats as well. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see more and more people. Kenny's in the house. Appreciate you greatly. Dawn, thank you for being here. Guys, there's so many awesome people that are joining us already. But if you have any interest in learning about leadership, learning a little bit about bullying and being treated incorrectly and being judged and going to prison and being exonerated, send invites out. Guys, share this on your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page. Make sure people are able to watch because you're going to love the guests. They are amazing. I have my QR code up. I'm going to take it down when the guests come on stage. But that is to my new business, Just Jack's Advising, where I do want to help you with some of the work that I talk about in my day work, like the reentry and like working with families, but also about relationships and helping businesses really be able to, especially small businesses, be able to reach the people that really need their services. Like I am staying in a VRBO, so it's kind of similar to what's called Airbnb. First time using this kind of a platform. I've done Airbnbs forever, but it's this time I decided to go different, and they are so noisy. The people that I am spending the time in their bottom level. And so hopefully you don't hear any noise, but I learned a lot. Some of my advising is going to be helping people market their Airbnbs correctly, their VRBOs correctly, because they never told me they were going to have 79 kids running upstairs while I'm trying to do lives and trying to do work and being on a conference. So it's interesting. Guys, it's a full moon tonight. So if you don't realize that, emotions get a little stronger. Sometimes our bodies hurt or sometimes our bodies heal a little bit more when there's a full moon out there. And if you have not planned a way to take care of yourself, if you're in West Michigan or if you want to come visit West Michigan, there is one more day to register for the Miha retreat, which is coming up. If you want to support animals and you love dogs, there is going to be a fundraiser at the end of the month for Operation Solo. You've seen them as guests before as well. There is so much going on that you can get involved with without spending a lot of money, without doing a lot of travel. But there's also things you can do to elevate yourself, like thinking about a business community, thinking about, taking that time to actually either volunteer somewhere or maybe learn a new skill, because your voice is so important to trickle out. So I'm super excited tonight that we have two phenomenal people. They are people near and dear to my heart in two totally different ways. And I am going to bring the first guest up right now because I could keep talking forever, and especially if you did see me on Bill's show yesterday. I barely even took a break, but it's important to really give the stage now to my amazing friend. He is on the other side of Michigan, but I love him to death. Eric Anderson, welcome to the stage, my friend.
Happy to be here on the stage. What's going on?
Oh, well, you know what? I'm still sitting in Missouri. I am going to jump back into the hot tub after this show, but other than that, things are just very interesting for life right now. But I want to talk about you. Thank you so much for being here. Eric, you've seen a few of my shows, and I know that you are such a busy guy. So thank you, first of all, for taking the time to do this. But I always like to start out with 3 questions, because people that are watching, people that are in the comments, people that are going to watch the replay, sometimes they're like, Jackie knows Eric, but I don't know Eric, or I want to know this about Eric before I start learning more about this or that. So I start out with 3 questions for everybody, and I'm going to ask you those same ones, and then you get to talk about anything you want to, however much you want to share or not share about what you're doing now and what your life has been like over the past couple of decades. You cool with that?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I figured. He's like so chill, guys. If you have not followed him yet or connected with him on LinkedIn, you haven't heard him speak before, just about as chill as you can get. And I love that so much. So first question, Eric, sometimes we don't hype ourselves up enough. Will you share 2 things that you have done or 2 things that you've accomplished that you are super proud of, or things that really make an impact on you that you've done?
Well, I will say that for how recent?
However you want. This is your life.
Come on, this is so broad.
2 things. I know there's 5 million things you should be proud of.
Okay, so I do a lot of work. I do a lot of advocacy work when it comes to saving people from wrongful convictions. And I would like to say that I am fortunate enough to have been an individual that's been supporting somebody that's wrongfully convicted in New York, by the name of Andre Brown. Just being the brother support system over the last year has been very crucial and vital to me. The brother just finally, after a couple years fight with the state of New York, they stopped fighting against him as of last Wednesday, I believe, and they vacated his sentence. He has served 20 plus years in New York state prisons for a crime he did not commit. So I'm just happy that I played a small role in that brother's reentry process. Just let him know that there's people all around the country that's here to support him. So I think that's an accomplishment, knowing that I was on the good side of things there.
That is huge. That is amazing. One more thing. What is one more thing? Because you do so many amazing things, but what are you personally?
Um, let me see. So another thing that I do on a daily is, but see, everything I do repetitively. So, but I would say that I've touched some kids, some college students' lives recently, as of last week. Just speaking about wrongful convictions, they're inspired law students. I don't know what area of law in which they want to enter once they graduate and take the bar, but I know from my standpoint, a lot of our community don't know anything about wrongful convictions, and it's kind of mind-boggling just thinking that somebody can go to prison for a crime they didn't commit. But once you get to learn how things happen, I think that it's a very interesting um, concept.
Interesting. And I would say horrendous concept. It's like, why the heck do so many people, especially men, especially black men, have to be sent to prison for crimes they didn't commit? You
No,
know?
it's quite a few white men that goes through it, but
Mhm.
and it's a lot women that don't get the recognition that they deserve when it comes to that. Cause like, when you think about criminal justice and punishment and all that type of thing, you think about the young black guy that's going through the plight. Um, However, it hits all angles. It hits all geographical and racial lines. And people just not aware to it. Like, I was wrongfully convicted in 2010. This is not something I signed up for. I didn't ask to be wrongfully convicted. I was a college student at the time, and it hit me. But so go ahead. I'm sorry. I messed up your
No,
line
don't
of
be
questioning.
sorry. You're amazing. And what you're talking about is why I have these three questions, because some people like answer them in 2 seconds and it's like, okay, and then they circle back. But
Mm.
what you are doing and what you are highlighting for your accomplishment is something that is so powerful, Eric, because you could have just walked away from the system. You could have walked away from anybody else facing this and just said, it's time to do my own life. And you didn't. So thank you for that. But now, even though you're amazing and I love you to death, and you are doing things flying all over and helping lift other people up and trying to give them hope and trying to educate the judicial system and police officers and corrections guards and all of the things to be aware of wrongful convictions, no matter how much experience we have, no matter whether we have titles or degrees or anything like that, we're all working on something. So is there something you're willing to share to kind of let us know what is something you're still growing in, or an area that you want to do more in for yourself personally?
See, that's such a hard question to answer, just because of, you hear about people in work-life balances,
Mhm.
but my work is my life. Like you said, I could have just walked away, damaged and hurt from what happened to me. However, I use that as motivation to do good things. And ultimately, I can't turn my back on the movement because I'm a part of the movement. It's one thing to be, example, it's one thing to say, you know what, I can't get through to advising people how to live their life and, just giving advice, right? That's one thing. You can turn your back on that. It might hurt you. It might not
Mhm.
fulfill you, and, just being able to help humanity. But you'll be okay. But for me, this is like something I live constantly. You
Mhm.
know, I've got myself so invested in the work, just trying to help myself too. That out of helping myself, I help others as well. So it's kind of hard for me to use the I need to I need work life balance. There's no such thing in my world.
Yeah. You are going nonstop 24 hours a day sometimes. And it is something that not a lot of us can understand the idea of having something happen to us that's negative that we didn't ask for or something we didn't sign up for. And then in a way, you've got to relive that sometimes all the time working with some of the people that you're working with to try to get their cases turned over and exonerated and everything. And I just appreciate you, but I always hope that you are still taking care of yourself and taking some little breaks now and then because the world needs a lot more of you for a very long time.
True.
So, if you could travel anywhere, because you do need to take those breaks, money was no object. There's nobody that you have to go sit in a courtroom or go support right now today. Where would you go visit? Where would you travel to, Eric?
I gotta tell you one place.
Just any place that jumps out to you. Tell me.
I got two.
Go ahead. You can do two.
All right, I'm gonna
You
do
earned it.
two. Sorry, listeners. So I wanna go to Africa. I think that's a black person dream or a white person dream is to go to Africa and just to see what it's like. It's a very unique place
Mm.
for many reasons. So that's one place. No particular country. Um, Also, I want to go to Mexico. I'm going to go to Mexico real soon. I have a passport, so I'll be able to use it. Just having not got around to going to Mexico. I don't know if I want to go to Cancun or Tijuana. So, but I
Ooh.
want to do something, do something like that. I travel a lot, so that's kind of I had a thing abroad because I can really go. I've probably been to the majority of the states that's I want to go to in this country. So I would say, in no particular order, I would like to go to Africa and also to Mexico.
I think that's very fair. I think Mexico, um, I think the two areas that you talked about in Mexico are probably night and day different too. So maybe
Mm.
you can go to both places if you like both of them. Africa, guys, I was just having this conversation like with three other people this past week. I grew up thinking Africa was either nothing but desert and people that were very much starving or jungles and scary animals and things like that. I didn't realize how vibrant so many countries in Africa are, how much of a powerhouse they are,
Mm.
and also just the historical significance and how reading about slavery and the slave trade in a book is one thing, but being able to go there and to experience it just life changing. I've had so many friends that have been to Ghana and a few other places, and they're just like, it changes you. And I hope you get to experience all the places you want to go, Eric, because you deserve to.
Thank you.
So, Eric, those are my official questions. There might be some questions that pop up in the chat, but one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to let people know this real quick. I got to see him in person. So we are on total opposite sides of the state. So if you put up your little hand, Michigan is like a mitten. I live by the pinky. He's down kind of below the thumb, right? That's kind of the Detroit area over there. But we were able to meet up multiple times. Look at me. I'm fangirling like crazy. This guy is amazing. He does so many cool things. And how we captured that moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like I'm literally at a rock concert right now. But Eric, thank you for taking time to get to know other people in the community of corrections and reentry and social work and social services and law enforcement and attorneys and other people that just want to get to know more about you and what's going on. Eric also he talked about working with youth, and he also stepped in when I needed. Some of you guys know my friend William. He's been on here before, and I've showed different pictures of him. a lot of times he will help mentor and guide some of the youth that I work with in our town. And Eric was able to step in for him one time, and he met virtually with, there were three families, three youth that had all been involved in gun charges. And Eric's just like, send me the Zoom link, I'll be there. And he was able to talk to them, and it was super powerful, and he didn't have to do it, but he was willing to do it. So very cool stuff. So Eric,
Yeah. So,
go ahead.
well, yeah. So I actually work in juvenile defense. I mean, not juvenile defense. Juvenile correction facility here in Wayne County, Michigan. I'm a mentor. I go in there a couple times out the week, a few times out the week, and just have great, impactful conversations. Try to change their minds a little bit about how to live and what's acceptable, and like how the struggles in which they're going through right now at the age of 16, 17 years old, despite the many of them have very, very serious charges that they're facing. But I try to get through to them by lived experience and let them know, like, your your life at 16 is pretty much not going to be your life at 35, right? So a lot of them are going through stress, like prison or jail is a very stressful environment, regardless of the fact of why they're there. Okay. So it's a whole new world, and they need mentoring, like, to change their mind, or it become a revolving cycle of chaos. So I try to do my part in that, just to connect with the youth. A lot of youth uh, coming back home to society. There's only a few of them with very, very serious crimes in which they getting charged as adults for. And I tend to, when they come home, me and my team tend to, wrap our arms around them, try to give them all the resources which we can to make sure that they are impactful and have a voice in our community.
And oh, you just kind of like hit it right there, Eric, because so many youth do not feel that they're even welcome in the community, let alone heard, let alone being able to ask for help or be able to, do some of the things that they want to be able to do, asking the questions. All they know is sometimes I'm not wanted here. They're treating me like this. This is what I have to do. And then you throw in a criminal charge on top of that, and then it's a whole different level. And doing what you do is not easy. Um, it's not easy seeing anybody that is in a locked facility. But then when you're talking youth on top of it, tough stuff, man. Tough stuff.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people that are tuning in from all over the place. And I don't know if you realize it, but we have people from the Philippines. We have people from the UK. We have people listening from a million different states. Well, I don't think there's a million, but you know what I mean. Lots of people that are here tonight that are going to learn from you. We've got about another 5 or 6 minutes that goes so fast.
That's it.
What do you want to share with people in the next few minutes? What do you want to tell them about Eric, about your organization, about life? What do you want to?
Um, well, life is just like everybody else life, right? Life is about ups, life is about downs, struggle, resiliency, overcoming difficulty, right? Just like everybody else.
Mhm.
But right now in this day and age, I'm doing well. It's more so of a mental fight, just living life. Um, so my organization is called the Organization of Exonerees. This organization was founded out of necessity for people in the state of Michigan that were victims of wrongful convictions. And we did it as initially as a resource hub for one another, right? We wasn't out on parole. We didn't have to answer to any government agency. But also what that mean on the flip side was that we didn't have all the resources in which, say, a person on parole might have had. So we had to really build out our own networking and resource hub. Over the years, or over time, we became fierce advocates for ourselves. We've spoken to at the Michigan Senate, at the House. We've spoken to law enforcement about wrongful convictions. In the state of Illinois, it is a state law that all police cadets must learn about wrongful convictions, and I'm one of the trainers for that. Um, so we try to just bring awareness to wrongful convictions and how they impact all our communities, and it impacts our communities in so many different ways.
Oh, it is. And I don't think the general public always thinks about wrongful convictions. A lot of times we read something in the newspaper, we hear it on the social media, and whatever they say is the guilty person. Sometimes we
Mhm.
just think about it. We just assume, okay, they got them off the street. They're the bad guy, the bad girl, whatever. And we go on with our lives. And we don't always think about the huge amount of wrongful sentencings that are out there and what that impacts, not just that person that they locked away, but their family, their friends, maybe their employer. You were going to school. I mean, that impacted your entire college class and your
Yes,
professor and everything.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Lastly, I would like to say, 'cause we probably got 30 seconds now or something like that.
Kinga might
Um,
not mind you doing a couple more minutes.
all right. So, lastly, if you are in the state of Michigan and interested in wrongful convictions and the organization, we are having a gala, a
Ooh,
fundraiser on October 27th.
nice.
It's a point in time where we're gonna show the community what we've been doing over the last year, our goals for the next year, and also it's a networking event for individuals that's in the fields that's revolving around wrongful convictions. Say it could be a judge, a lawyer, a prosecutor. It could be community members. It could be business owners that just are passionate and care about us that really don't have a clear cut connection to us, but just are inspired that people are able to weather the storm despite whatever plight they're going through.
I love that. I think I've seen the flyer on that. If not, will you
Mm.
send it to me and I can put it in the chat later? So anybody that's interested in learning more or even coming up to Michigan, like I said, they don't have to even live here to want to come to our state is pretty cool. I mean, once it gets to be December, it's like super cool until in terms of cold. So I don't recommend that unless you like that kind of weather. But Eric, there are people that need to know more about this. They need to be able to wrap their head around it because they're either in the reentry field, they're going into criminal justice themselves. Maybe they're a social worker. Maybe they have a family member that keeps telling them, I'm innocent, but they don't know who to believe or how to believe them because they
Right.
had a trial and they were sentenced. And that's tough stuff. Do you mind just sharing how long you actually had to go before they finally exonerated you? Are you willing to share that with us?
Yeah, I'm willing to share that. So in 2010, I was a college student. I was going to community college. Was 2 weeks from finals my freshman year. After in the fall, I was going to transfer to Michigan State University for computer engineering. However, that was not that was not my reality. My reality was that I was arrested 2 weeks before finals, and I was ultimately sentenced to 15 to 22 years for armed robbery, which I did not commit. That same night, I was a victim of gun violence 10 miles away from that where the robbery occurred, and that's ultimately what had happened. In a short story, um, the state case was actually bogus. They had nothing against me, just the individual saying I did something to him, in which he didn't know what happened to him or who did what to him. He just know that I had got shot that same night, and he put my name in his equation. Um, the jury sympathized with the victim. I got sentenced to 15 to 22 years. After 9 years in Michigan Department of Corrections, I was represented by the Michigan Innocence Clinic, which is at the University of Michigan, and also the Wayne County Conviction Integrity Unit. And they agreed to give me relief in this after very thoroughly seeing, you know, the case, the facts of the case, and there's no way possible that I had committed that armed robbery. And I've been out for 6 years now. If I would have did all my time, Jackie, I wouldn't even know you because I would have got out in April of this year. So we would have never probably crossed paths.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Eric, thank you for sharing that. I think it's incomprehensible to so many of us. It's just incomprehensible that you're sitting here just cool as can be, willing to share your personal stuff, doing this to help other people and get the word out. And you're helping kids in detention facilities that have made really not good decisions, but yet you're doing this over and over. He is not just a guest for me. He's interviewed on all kinds of radio stations and he's pulled into different colleges and different things for all these things, but yet to relive that, for us to just hear about it. I've seen a couple comments like, oh my gosh, and thank you for sharing that. But the reality is this is your real life. This isn't just, oh, he's on a TV show. He's saying this for an interview or something. This was your life, Eric, and sharing it with us helps us learn. It helps us be more aware if we find ourselves in the court process or that we feel like they're not checking evidence for a loved one or a friend or a colleague or maybe one of our participants. There are groups like yours. There are groups like different law centers that are trying to help and support. And without us hearing your stories, we wouldn't know. We would just keep on thinking that every single jury is honest and every single detective is getting the right information. And I mean,
Yeah, that's very false.
yeah. And to think that you were injured that night in a totally different situation. You should have been treated like a victim as well through the whole process. And you came out just as an absolute rock star to help people. And I'm so thankful our paths did cross because you're right. Who knows what would have happened if you were in longer? Would you have been still willing to help? Would you be the same man you are today? And guys, he's amazing. I mean, if you can't tell, he's very humble. Go check him out on LinkedIn. Check out the website. It's scrolling at the bottom, Organization of Exonerees. And so many people have benefited from you, Eric, so many people directly. He's driven to prisons by himself hours and hours away just to welcome somebody out when they're released. And he's got a great network of people surrounding him as well. But you deserve more. So you deserve to be connected with a lot of these great people here. And I wish you the best. I can't wait to see you again in person. I hope it happens soon. I will do a little more fangirling, I'm assuming, but we'll have good conversations as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime, my friend. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Did I tell you he'd be great? Guys, it's tough. When we talk about lived experience, sometimes people don't realize that, I did that or this happened to me. Sometimes we take away the real impact, the life that was changed forever and altered. Now, depending on if you're a person with faith, you're a person that believes in fate or destiny or however you believe, nobody deserves to have to go through some of those things to get where they are today, but yet we have to sometimes. It's just a really confusing world. And to be angry and to be full of fear and to be, not wanting to trust people again, it is the normal reaction. And to be able to give back, it helps my soul when I see people like Eric willing to take on the fight that so many people just ignore or walk away. So, wow. Okay, guys, are you ready for Kinga? Because like I said, their stories are night and day different, but yet they're kind of similar in certain areas because life happens and different people don't always treat us well, don't respect us, or don't want to hear our voices. And so y'all bringing Kinga up because you need to hear her voice. You ready for my friend?
Hello. I feel like we've been waiting for this for a while,
So long. And then to have to do it after the amazing Eric is telling his world information. But it's time for you. It is time for you. Why has it taken so long to get you on my stage?
Well, I've been busy. You know me. I'm always like running around in my thing. So I'm just excited to be here, especially with your like rebrand, which is amazing. And I really like Eric's energy, that chill, because you and I can go and go, go. Yeah, I know, right? So we kind of need that chill vibe
Yeah.
sometimes.
And yet he still gets so much done. You and I are always running at 5 million speeds. He is too, but yet he's chill. And people need our vibes. People need chill vibes. And I think that's one of the coolest things, is being able to see what works for us. But Kinga, we got to get to you, because you're amazing. You are such an inspiration to so many people. There's so many people that showed up because they saw your name being tagged and everything, which just makes my heart so happy for you. But I got to start out with those questions, just like I did with Eric, even though some people are like, let Kinga talk, let Kinga talk. No, she's going to do 3 questions. And then if you have questions for her, she will answer them, or she'll go back into the chat afterwards and respond to you too, because you need to get to know her. And we need to share a little bit about how we even know each other. But first, Miss Kinga, 2 things that you are so proud of yourself for, that you are thankful that you were involved in, or that you did that was amazing.
Thanks. Well, the 2 things I think would be, first, a lot of people know that I am a corporate escapee or whatever, but it's one of those things where I made the leap from a life that I knew, and decided to leave it behind. And I knew in my heart that there was just something different for me out there. And walking away from something that was extremely familiar, and going into a new path. And I knew that I had to take that leap. I just had to, because I knew that there was something better on the other side. And I knew that if I was destined to show others that there was something better, that I would have to take that myself. And I knew it was going to be hard, which it really is. But that was the way that I was going to have to do it. Yeah. So that, and so just doing that, because it's a lonely path, and when you kind of leave everything behind. So that, and then also, I am a kind of a systems thinker. And what I mean by that is that I am a little bit stuck until I understand an entire system. I really have to view it from its entirety to know how things are interconnected before I'm good with walking through it. So at a time where we are at a pivotal moment in history with technology and being in the tech space, I knew that it was going to take some time for me to observe the changes. And I was also a change management, project management expert. I knew that it was going to take some time for me to observe and acknowledge how technology was changing. So that in itself was going to take me a couple of years. So I had to be patient, which I don't enjoy being. So it was not only just a lonely path, but it was a patient, and frustrating kind of lonely path. So really hard time to take on. And yeah, I did it. And I feel like I'm on the other side of it now. And that was just together, I guess, like 2 kind of big pivotal moments. And I feel like, wow, I did it, and I'm happy about that. So yeah.
You deserve to be happy about it, because those huge pivots are not things that everybody would do, and they are not things that everybody would be able to adapt to if it happened to them under force, but you did it under your decision.
Honestly, I didn't feel like it was a decision.
Really?
Yeah. I think that when you feel something so strongly, you feel it so much in your heart that sometimes you just don't even feel like there's a choice. And I guess I knew in my heart, like, sure, I can go back, but I'm like, but I can't, because it just felt so important to me to live by my values. And to me, I put it in my head that it's not even a choice.
That is amazing. Oh, Mike's got a good one there. Yeah, you definitely need to connect with him for sure. He's great. And he did the music. Loved it. Kinga, you were amazing. You were a rock star. You're a co-author in anthology. You were on the 100 magazine, amazing things. You can lead a team of 5 million people if you wanted to, and you could elevate one human up sky high if you wanted to at the same time. But what is some area you're still growing in? What is a place that you would like to work on just for you?
That is a good question. I think for me, probably building like my own community. I love supporting community builders. To me, community is everything. It's the heart of everything. And I'm very intentional about supporting community builders. I was always kind of working with leadership and helping them design their own leadership systems. I personally think that it's a lot of work. And so I don't want to, like, people say, own your own community. That is actually not a career goal of mine. It never has been, because it's a lot of work. And honestly, I'm kind of a free spirit. I kind of enjoy, moving along. And if I don't want to have to keep up with things and do my own thing, I kind of enjoy doing that. There is a sense of freedom that I enjoy. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to have people around me and keep that momentum going. So I haven't mastered that quite, because I've been I kind of am a full-blown, I spend all this time learning, and bouncing around networks and figuring out what's best for me. But that was kind of that systems thinking. I had to figure things out. Now I've built the system, and so now I have to settle in.
I love it. I built the system. Look at her just dropping that.
That I needed to at least for what I was trying to accomplish. Yeah.
But you deserve to own that. You deserve to own that. And it sounds like, just a little more balance for you, my dear. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so good. So you just got back from a trip. You are living in a very warm climate. So it's not like you have to escape in the winter like I do. But if you could go anywhere right now, regardless of money or time or anything, where are you going, Kinga?
Do I get two? Because Eric got two.
Eric did, so you got her too. It's only balanced, right? If you both do too.
Right. I have always kind of dreamt of the whole like Bali, that area, just something very tropical, chill. Like I am woo. I have my total woo side, where I get to just really invest in myself. And I really would enjoy something like a good retreat. I actually do have a chill side. I know it's hard to believe. And then I would also like to go back to Italy, because who doesn't? It's one of my favorite countries to go to. I just really enjoy it. The food and the scenery and just the people. I love the passion that people seem to have there, because I'm a passionate person. And so I think that the vibe there is really cool.
That is amazing. So yeah, who wouldn't want to go back to Italy, but who wouldn't want to go there for the first time? Some of us have never been there. I love that. And I believe Mike said last week when he popped on for to highlight the cool song that he did for me, that Bali was on his list too. So I love that. I love when I get to hear other people's interests, because it tells me something about not just your interest, but I get to see people's face light up. Even when Eric was talking about Africa, his face he got really like, I need to see that. And I thought that was amazing. So thank you for sharing. So I put on the top of this event, I put the word fractions on there. Should we just jump into that really quick before you start talking all about your cool business and everything?
Sure, let's do it.
So you kind of lay the groundwork on why I would even know about fractions with you.
Mm-hmm. So, and actually it tied a little bit into this past weekend. Do you know that there is a term? Does anyone know what ESL is? Does anyone know that?
So
if anybody from this weekend that I hung out with, if they happen to be on, they'll know what it is.
Is that in terms of literacy? in terms of
It's
literacy? English?
English. Yes, English is a
Secondary language?
second language. And I wasn't a second language for me, but I did learn English at the same time as Hungarian. My parents were both born in Hungary. And so it has a lot to do with my communication skills, the way that I interpret language, and how literal of a person I am. And the way that that language in particular kind of forced me to think through problem solving and through how I interpret what people say, and why sometimes I would struggle with what people mean. But it also became my superpower because I could really tell the difference in nuances when people would say things and people are kind of BSing. I could call that out very quickly. And quite frankly, BS totally confuses me because I can see through it so quickly. Um, but but yes, English is a second language. So um, there is the first anthology that I wrote in with Jackie, and we were paired up as partners. And the opening line was around fractions because there are certain phrases in the English language that would really trip me up as a kid. And I made a post about this, but it was, do you know your fractions? And it was that your that really made me think that we were supposed to have ownership of our fractions. So, and I think even we had to read each other's,
Yeah.
right? And I know when you were reading it, you didn't necessarily enunciate the your.
No, and that's why. So when she talks about being paired up, so before the book is published, they had us meet with another co-author, and we kind of like, I didn't know Kinga, she didn't know me. We heard each other's names, but we had never really vested any time together. And you read mine first, didn't you? And we were like all emotional and stuff. Yeah, we were kind of emotional. And then her starting sentences, do you know your fractions? And I'm like, math. We're going to talk about math. It just kind of like, that's not what she mentioned that her story was kind of about. So I was just like, okay. So it didn't hit me until she's like, no, Jackie, keep reading. And I'm just like, wow, little things that so many of us take for granted. She was actually kind of tormented about, kind of treated not okay. Look at this brilliant woman. Look at this brilliant woman. You wouldn't think that sometimes different situations like that happen to people. And when you just said the enunciation of the your, it was almost like it would probably happen yesterday for you. Yeah.
It happened a lot, right? And there were a lot of phrases, and I continue on about even during the interview process when people would say, can you solve roadblocks? And the only things that would be ripping through my head was like, roadblocks, like that's such a specific question. Like there's so many types of roadblocks, right? Like, I mean, what if you're the roadblock? And what if, I just felt like that was just that could be so many things. And who can answer that definitively? And I was just such a literal person that I thought, well, who am I to say that I can solve every problem out there? Like, and so I would just freeze up. And meanwhile, I could probably solve 10 times more problems than the average person. I had that level of confidence, but yeah, outwardly, I'd just say no. I knew, I was self-aware enough to know that I couldn't solve every problem. So I'd say no.
I love that. I love that. Like your confidence was there, but you also were like so deep and thought about it and trying to make sure that, think about how many people would just say, oh yeah, sure. I got this, I got it all. And it actually was something important to you. So Kinga, you have your own business now. You are doing amazing things. You do all kinds of the things. Will you share about the things?
Yeah. So I finally got kind of my my website put together. And it's not that I'm so much into a website. It's really not. It's more that I believe that we need a landing space that we call our own. It's a place for us to make our claim around what we do. Because, I've written a lot of articles, or I've been on wonderful podcasts with my friends, or, whatever things that we do. And we need a collective space where we say, hey, this is my voice. I get to own this. I get to say what I do, what I offer. This is my message. And I want to make sure that everybody gets to hear it. Right. And so, there's a lot of data scraping. There's a lot of things that are happening online. And one of my goals is to help people understand the reality of the situations that we're in. And I am a firm believer in just being very honest and real about our current climate, and being responsible about it and helping people as best I can. And I don't want to give any kind of false illusion around, well, anything, and if I'm not the right person for you kind of thing, then we should figure that out as quickly as possible. But I definitely want to help people move forward with whatever issues in business that they're facing. And so, I built something that is very intentional, the name of my business, Execute Your Intentions, but very intentional so that people understand what I'm all about, how I can solve problems for them. And I built it in a way where I took a lot of time to understand where the internet and search engines were heading, so that when we use AI, we use like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude or whatever GPTs people are now using, which most search engines are using some form of that behind the scenes. When people ask about either me or my business, it should be able to answer most of the questions. And that way you can really see, like, can she help me with this? Would she be able to help me with this? It should answer pretty accurately. And if not, just reach out to me and find out. But that way it kind of just covers everything. And so far, the testing that I've had people do for me gives pretty accurate results. So that was ultimately my goal, was to have a place where I can really comprehensively show people what I do and go to my website.
I love that so much. And I apologize. I was just looking. I swore I had like the actual website link that I was going to share tonight. So when you have time, make sure to drop that in the chat after the show, or let me, I'll do it after the show too, if you don't get a chance, because people need to learn about you. And you're right about a landing page, because you have done so much. And for anybody that wants to check out the book that Kinga and I are in together, you can actually go to my justjaxadvising.com page. And at the end, I think it says like more information or something like that. It is a book that's called Beyond Boundaries. And that's how we met. That's how this started. And our stories are in there, the good, bad, and ugly parts of it. And it shows how we are connected for life. I mean, yes, our names are in the same book forever, but just being able to share that experience with you, of having you be the first real person to read my story other than the editors, it was something that was raw, something I had never experienced before. I never shared my story. I don't know how much you had, or if you had ever shared yours in written form before that, but it was just something that the grace you gave me, the impact it meant, and with your business and with all the work you do, you were in some fields that were probably not as welcoming to a young female, and you have overcame so many things that you understand all the sides. So, she's leadership, she's executive, she does all this thing, she owns her own business, but she's also Kinga the human too. And she can align with you in so many different ways. So Kinga, what else do you want to share with anybody that's watching today? You have some great people that are here supporting you. You got to go back and check the comments. There's a couple that, like, when I post them, like I've pulled up some of their comments, like this one right here. I believe this was Jessica. It says LinkedIn user just because of the way her thing. But when you go back to the LinkedIn page, you'll be able to actually see who's writing it. You've got some great support. And I love that so much. And I have to pull up 2 pictures real quick while you're talking. This one, I just want you to pretend that I'm sitting at this table with Kinga, because Kinga and I will be together in person someday. Fingers crossed it's not too long, because I just love you to death and I appreciate you. And then let's just show. Look how freaking beautiful. I mean, talk about badass, fierce woman. This is the picture she just used for one of her recent posts. You need to follow her, read her information, because not only is she a published co-author and done magazine articles and all this stuff, she drops the knowledge and she's not scared to share some things. Her and I have been, over the years, we've also had some kind of not great things that have happened to both of us similarly, even from people that are supposed to be supportive and in your network and supposed to lift you up. And we were able to commiserate about that and realize that we need to be around cool people that really do value us and lift us up. And so we are both part of Damian Kinsey and Dr. Tanya Farron's 2350 network. And it's neat how when you start to align yourself, they keep popping up in areas they need to be. So let's hear some other things you want to share before the end of the show, Miss Kinga. What do you want people to know about you? What do you want people to do to reach out for you for more information?
Yeah, thanks for that. I agree with you. Like finding those people that do kind of just ground us. And I loved, you were talking about, I think it was yesterday, because I did catch up on your show yesterday with William Rochelle. Yes. And it's that we do continue to support one another because we care, and that and something that you talked about was about hope. Like something that has always kept me going no matter what is that I have trained my brain literally that there is always an answer out there. Like no matter what, no matter how down I get, I believe that there is an answer out there. And I believe that especially when I surround myself with people, if I'm seeking the good inside of them, that there is something where we can become a superpower. And so I look at it this way, that I go, okay, what is good about you? What is good about you? Somehow we are going to find something in today's environment to do something really freaking cool. And we're going to make it awesome, because there's no way that we can fail if we don't put our minds together and we don't use the power of the collective. And that is super empowering. Right. And so it really is like we really realize what we're able to accomplish when we take on that mindset. So, we all have it within us to be kind. We all have it within us to pay each other a compliment. We all have it to like find something really cool, dig for it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, although superhero movies wouldn't be making as much money if they didn't, if we don't want to connect with what's inside us, and how can we give out? And you put it so clearly, it costs no money to be kind, to be caring, and to lift other people up. Now, guys, follow her. Listen to Dawn. Kinga is inspiring. Listen to Sharon. She is a treasure chest. She's wisdom, guys. Kinga is somebody you want to know, and people that have their heart like Eric and Kinga, helping others, but also staying true to themselves and taking care of themselves, is what we all deserve to do. So Kinga, I can't thank you enough for finally being on the show. I wish we had like 17 hours to keep talking, but you and I are going to talk again real soon. Maybe not on camera, but you're always welcome back. I appreciate you so much, my friend.
Okay.
You call me too.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Oh my gosh, so amazing. Like, love her to death and appreciate her. And just like Eric, I mean, every single one of us have a little bit different stories. We have a little bit different reasons for what we what we need to give to people and what we're willing to share or not share, or what we want to be highlighted, what we don't want to be highlighted, what might not work for us right now, but you know what, it'll work another time. We have to decide what we're going to put into this world, because I promise you, when you are angry and bitter and so frustrated, that's pretty much what life is going to give you back in terms of everything. If you try to have hope, if you try to be a caring human, if you try to look for other opportunities, it doesn't mean life is going to be super easy. And it doesn't mean that you're going to get all these wonderful things and millions of dollars, but it means you're going to be a little lighter inside your heart and inside your mind. And your mind is a beautiful place, and it doesn't need to be caught with all those extra things in it that hold you back. So reach out to Kinga if you want more information on her amazing business and how she can support you. Follow her. She has her YouTube channel. We're trying to grow that. We need to get her some more followers because she's got some knowledge to drop. Make sure that you're supporting Eric and find out who needs to hear your voice. And if you don't know how to get your voice out there, I am still accepting other guests for Just Jackson guests. Right now, we're booking into November. I've got some amazing people coming up on the next few Mondays in October. But please remember, your voice is just important. You don't have to own your own business. You don't have to have, certain kind of life experiences. You just have to be you, and you have to be willing to share yourself with us. So guys, I am going to start the amazing outro music again from Mike LeBlanc. So cool. I appreciate it greatly. And if you were here tonight for the full show, you know how great these people were tonight. I appreciate it. If you're catching it on replay, or if you only stopped in partway through, you definitely want to check people out. Go check out my YouTube channel as well. And that is at Jackie Hallberg LMSW. That is my YouTube. So you can check up all the past episodes. Guys, there's different topics all the time. It is all about highlighting diverse humans and making sure that those diverse humans and all of us are really dropping that stigma, and we're making sure that we don't really contribute to mental health issues for people, or putting people in a situation where they're not valued and they don't feel worthy, because guys, we all deserve it. Are you ready? Going to close it out. I'm not going to make you watch me dance as much as we did in the opening, but thank you guys for being here. See you next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See ya.
Thank you for coming, for spending your time with us at Just Jacks, where repair can align. Re-entry with dignity, justice that restores. Conflict finds peace as we open new doors. Yeah. Family reunification under the same moon. Thanks so much for coming. We'll see you soon.